Every month there'll be somebody going, is it just me? Or are you guys not playing games as much? And, are you grown out of video games or blah, blah, blah? I'm always curious about that because I never see any other comment about that when it comes to art forms like any other art forms. Have you outgrown movies? Have you outgrown music? Television, reading, I never see that. Certainly people will change their taste in reading and movies and music and whatnot, but they never walk away from, for the most part, you never hear anybody talking about, oh, I've outgrown movies or I've outgrown books, but you hear it frequently with video games. And so I started looking this up, trying to figure out what it is about games that would be different. Games out of all the mediums require the most effort. If you're talking like core games, traditional games like, Call of Duty or Uncharted or Last of Us or God of War or whatever, those games require a level of engagement and mental energy, unlike like K-Nubs in the chat says it's passive entertainment, these other things that as the demands of life kick in, that's a big part of it. And I understand that. There is a game I played today that reminds me of that game Microsoft put out a couple years ago about Dusk Falls or whatever it was called, that was very simple to play. Today's game, I'll show you in a little bit, was called Nobody Wants to Die. And it's really cool. It's a very simple to play game, but it had a really cool story and really cool interactivity. And I do think maybe, because I know gamers are continuing to game as they get older, I hope we can start getting more and more and more games like that and less just, old people play games, but it's solitaire or Wordle or whatever, as much as I love those games. So part of it I do think is just the sort of mental energy that when you want to be entertained, a lot of people beyond a certain age are just like, I don't have the time for it. But on the flip side, though, I do wonder how much of it is fundamentally not a weakness of the medium, but a weakness of the way the medium currently is exploited. And that I think a lot of people don't leave games with a sense of purpose, right? You can read a book, even if you can read an action adventure novel, but there's a sense, maybe because you're in the head of the character, the narrator, or in a movie, the director or whatever, there's a sense of you coming away from that with, hopefully it's not on the nose life lessons, but some sense of, emotional or intellectual nutrition. And I don't really think a lot of video games offer that. And I think that probably is also one of the reasons that people kind of, as they get older, they say, I'm not going to put up with the mental effort to play a game and the time effort to play a game, because when I'm done with it, it feels like I've eaten, empty calories, is what I would think. Books, says Lord Garth, are as much mental as games. Sort of. The effort to read a book does require more mental energy than to watch a show. The difference, though, is you don't have any challenges reading a book. You might have emotional, intellectual challenges trying to sort of process what you've read, because maybe it affects you in a good way, hopefully. But the difference is a game not only has the need for the mental challenge and energy, but then it also simply is just sometimes hard, and you've got to sort of work through it, and you don't see that in a book. But Ultra Awesome says books take more mental energy to go through. Again, I think it probably depends on the game and depends on the book, but I do think books, you don't get, the one of the smart things American McGee said ages ago at DICE was, it's not like you get to chapter 6 and suddenly the language changes from like English to Russian and you're like, oh, I have to get good if I want to see what happens next. But games do that. Carlos says that's right. Carlos says that's why mobile games are popular. They take less effort than console. That's exactly right. I mean, I think it's an effort thing. So I was playing this game today. I do recommend it. It's only like 5 hours long. It is called Nobody Wants to Die, and it came out today, and it's $20. It's basically like cyberpunk noir, which I guess is Blade Runner. But it's very much a detective story. You play a detective in like New York City in the year 2396 or something like that. And but what I really found neat about it was that it was not. It was mentally taxing in that you actually have to kind of solve a case and stuff, but it was very handholdy, but it was still really engaging and immersive. And so, maybe it's just that there need to be more games, and maybe there only will be if people buy them. I don't know if this will do well or not, but there need to be more games where they can still be cool adventures that you can go on. They just don't require as much energy. And then maybe you will get more people gaming longer. Oh, I love Cyberpunk. Ultra Awesome says, yeah, but that's a proper game, right? That takes a lot of energy compared to a game like this or compared to watching a show. But anyway, I just wanted to bring it up because I do think it's one of those things that, as gamers are getting older and more people are gaming because gamers are not aging out, it's something I think about. And it's something I think about when I see this appear on forums once a month. I'm tired of gaming, or I'm growing out of gaming, or whatnot. But